Well, right now, the vast majority of our activation work here in India is centered around MasterCard. MasterCard is a worldwide client for Octagon, so we activate for them around the world. So since day one in the IPL, we've been running MasterCard's association with the Mumbai Indians.
Yep.
And that deal is coming up for renewal at the end of this year, so we're actively working with MasterCard to figure out what next in sponsorship. Clearly, cricket is an important part of that relationship that they have to their customers here in India. But we're also looking to potentially broaden their sponsorship portfolio in the country. So that's one client. Another client that we do work with is Merrill Lynch, their investment banking business here. But the plans for India really are very similar to what our plans were for China and were for Brazil. Certainly India is next up on our area of focus. So in the case of Brazil, 18 months ago there was no Octagon Brazil. So India is already ahead of them in that perspective, because we've had folks here in India for 5 years now. But Brazil, obviously with the World Cup and the Olympics coming, is a very important market for sports marketing. So over the last 18 months, we've established Octagon Brazil. We now have 25 employees. By the end of the year, we'll have 30 employees. And we have a large stable of retainer clients that we're providing strategic consulting for in football, Olympics, and everything from music festivals to rodeos. So the plan in India is very similar. Let's build on the presence we have in the market, but certainly given how the economy is doing in this country and the passion that you guys have for cricket and other sports, and obviously movies, music, entertainment, I think there's a great opportunity for the kind of consulting we provide, which is, it's not just about putting your logo in association with something, but using the assets that you have strategically to help build your brand and grow your business. I think it's relatively immature in terms of how sponsorship is used. Obviously there's a lot of activation, a lot of money being spent around the IPL, and that clearly will continue. I think what we'll see is companies using cricket maybe in a way that's more central to their core marketing messaging. And I think we're also going to see a diversification away from cricket into other sports as well, as clients start to use sports to tell their brand story and to engage the target consumers. So I think the future for sports marketing in India is bright, and Octagon looks forward to hopefully being a part of the development and thought leadership around how you can use those sponsorship assets in India. I think Formula One, certainly there's an Indian presence there, and we've seen from our research around the world that a lot of Formula One interest is driven by the affinity you have, be it an affinity for drivers from your home country, cars, or teams from your own country. So Force India team, hopefully as it gets more competitive, will drive more and more interest in India. I think the English Premier League, we're just seeing phenomenal growth there, both on the commercial side, but also in distribution and viewership. So things like Manchester United and Arsenal and Liverpool are now global platforms, and I think I've probably seen more Wayne Rooney shirts in the last 3 days than probably any other soccer shirt. Setting aside the Mumbai Indian shirts, I saw a lot of those in Mumbai in the last 3 days. But aside from the Mumbai Indian shirts, it's probably Manchester United was the number one shirt that I was seeing around town. So I think EPL is certainly another great platform, and football in general. Yes, there's a lot of information out there in terms of syndicated data about who the fans are, what they're watching, a little bit of information about when and where. So the who, what, when, and where is pretty much covered. The area that tends to be missing is the why, and that's certainly an area that we've focused on and created this research methodology called Passion Drivers that is very much focused on understanding why fans are fans, what are the emotional connections, because at the end of the day, that's the most important piece of the puzzle, is understanding why consumers care, because the way that sponsorship works is, how can we use that tremendous passion that consumers have, be it for sport or entertainment, and engage them with our brand, our products, our services in a way that's relevant and compelling to them because they care about cricket or football, Formula One, or whatever it might be, and use that context to tell our brand story and engage consumers and ultimately sell more stuff using those products. So for us, that's why our research is really focused on that why and understanding those emotional connections, because as we're about to talk about over the next 2 days, from my perspective, that's where the magic is understanding why consumers care and how you can use that to help move your business forward.